stable returns over 15, 20 years, because that's what those leases will be on these data centers. And so you have a great opportunity for long-term investing.
Larry, on the U.S. economy, and we talked about U.S. exceptionalism, do you worry that actually there are two very different outcomes with the U.S. election that could bring the economy in different ways?
Both candidates have, in many cases, very similar views on making the U.S. even stronger. Both candidates, in their interpretation of how that may happen, may differ. Our job is to work with any political position. Our job is to be working with the U.S. government, like we're here in Germany. We're working with the German government. There's going to be an election here next year, too. Our job is to be working with societies and building a platform together, and so we're not trying to make any judgments.
But you deploy capital differently under President Trump than under President Harris?
On the margin, not
that much?
No, I think we over-conflate what it means. I mean, I don't think the U.S. is going to be pivoting that much depending on one outcome. You know, we're not focusing on the day-to-day movements of markets. We're focusing on, is the U.S. an exceptional place to invest for 5 years, 10 years, 20 years? That's what we're focusing on. Yes, there may be moments where you could have a 10% or even a 15 or 20% downdraft. Does that represent a major shift, or does that represent an opportunity? And so you have to look at it that way. In most cases, over the last 30 years, anytime you had a 10 or 20% downdraft, you wanted to be there standing by and buying. And those who ran away over a 20-year horizon have lost a lot of possible return.
Are you optimistic about Europe? So you're one of the biggest shareholders in UniCredit. You're one of the biggest shareholders in Commerzbank.
Yes.
Does a combination needs, does it make a bit of impetus for Europe? Does it make sense?
I am a very large believer on a banking and a capital markets union. I think that's the strength of the United States. Europe needs to do that. I've read the Draghi report. Because we are large shareholders in both, I don't talk about any activity about one organization versus another. But technically, I look at the strength of the United States, and much of the strength is because of the strength of our capital markets and our banking system. Europe needs a stronger capital market system, and it needs a more unified banking system. And I think that's going to be urgently necessary for Europe to go to the next step.
So as a shareholder, you don't get involved? Or have you spoken to the chief executives?
I'm not going to talk about it.